I heard the paramedic say her name before I even saw her, but it was the expression on his face that twisted my stomach. It held pity, strain, and something he clearly didn't want to explain to a husband standing in a hallway at 2:17 in the morning. "Sir, your wife is stable," he said. "But there's something you should know." Those words sent a cold ripple through me. I had no idea that the hours ahead would dismantle everything I believed about love, loyalty, and the woman I had spent 10 years building a life with. I couldn't have imagined that what waited behind that curtain would leave me so hollow that even now, retelling it feels like reopening a wound. But let me take you back to the moment when I still believed she belonged only to me. I had been asleep when the call came. My phone lit up the dark room with that sickly hospital blue glow that always feels like a warning. "Is this Daniel Reyes?" a voice asked. "Yes," I said, sitting up. "This is St. George Medical. Your wife has arrived here." Panic crept in instantly. What happened? They wouldn't tell me over the phone, just urged me to come right away. I drove through empty streets, the world dead quiet except for my heartbeat hammering in my chest. She had said she was stuck at work, some last-minute deadline. I'd texted her around midnight just to check in, and she sent back a heart emoji, telling me she'd be home later. I held on to that tiny message like it meant something, not knowing how meaningless it really was. When I walked into the ER, the nurse at the front desk gave me an uneasy, sympathetic look, the same look I would see again on the paramedic. A mixture of hesitation and pity, like she knew something I didn't. "She's in room 6, the nurse said quietly. "Someone is with her." That sentence struck me wrong. Someone was with my wife at 2 in the morning. I pushed the curtain aside and froze. She was on the bed, pale and drained. But beside her sat a man I had never seen before. The moment he saw me enter, he shot to his feet, guilt written all over him. "My wife, Emily," I managed. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Daniel, wait. Who is he?" My voice shook despite my best effort. Neither of them spoke. The silence pressed down like a weight. Finally, the man murmured, I should leave." "No," I said sharply. "You stay. Someone needs to explain why you're sitting next to my wife in a hospital bed." Emily covered her face with her hands. When she looked at me again, her eyes were red. Whether from pain or guilt, I couldn't tell. Before she could speak, the doctor walked in. He took in the tension instantly. "Mr. Reyes," he said, "your wife suffered a strong allergic reaction severe enough to affect her breathing." I stared at him. Allergic reaction to what? "She doesn't have allergies." He hesitated, and I knew the truth wasn't going to be gentle. "She mentioned she may have developed a sensitivity to latex." The symptoms began shortly after. He stopped himself, but the meaning hit hard. Latex. A sharp, tearing pain opened inside me. The other man spoke softly. "I didn't know she was allergic." "She didn't either," I replied, hollow. "So, you two were together." Emily broke then. "Daniel, I'm so sorry. I didn't think any of this would happen." "You didn't think what?" I asked. "Didn't think you'd end up in the ER, or didn't think I'd find out?" The doctor slipped out of the room, leaving the three of us in air that felt like metal. "How long?" I asked. "Please, just tell me how long." Her shoulders slumped. 5 months. 5 months. 5 months of lies. 5 months of late nights and excuses that suddenly made perfect sense. I let out a single bitter laugh. "And now you're here because you had an allergic reaction while you were with him." She winced at the truth. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was lonely. You were distant. Work was stressful." He listened. "Oh, so it's my fault you cheated?" "I'm not saying that," she whispered. I wasn't thinking clearly. I looked at the man. "Are you married?" He shook his head. "No." And I didn't know she was at first. When I found out, I tried to stop it. She told me things were complicated. Emily buried her face again. I messed everything up. I wanted to scream, throw something, let the anger consume me. Instead, all I felt was a crushing heaviness spreading through my ribs. "You were with him," I said quietly, "and the hospital called me. Your husband. I'm the one who rushed here. I'm the one who cared. She kept apologizing, over and over, like repetition could undo 5 months of betrayal. But something inside me had already broken clean through. I'm glad you're safe, I told her softly. Truly. But I'm finished. Her tears spilled faster. Daniel, please. I can fix this.
No.
You had 5 months to think about what you were doing. I didn't even get 5 seconds. The other man stared at the floor, drowning in guilt, but he wasn't the one who made vows to me. I'll bring your things tomorrow, I said. Stay with him. Stay with anyone. I just can't stay with someone who destroys me and calls it a mistake. When I turned to leave, she reached out weakly. Daniel, don't go home alone tonight. I paused only long enough to answer. I've been alone for months. I just didn't know it.
Then I walked out of the ER.
The door slid open like the world was shifting to make space for the person I was becoming, someone who would never look at love the same way again. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. It wasn't easy then, and it isn't easy now. But someone out there needs to hear this. Heartbreak doesn't end you. Betrayal doesn't last forever. Take care of your heart. Not everyone will.